quirky rant on a movie I won't bother watching. Emerald Fennell's clean girl version of Wuthering Heights. An $80 million spoiled kids tantrum in the era of IA's law. Mrs. Fennell, being a rich kid doesn't excuse you from being so boring. Being a girl's girl also implies, in my understanding, taking in the moral responsibility to openly criticize and never take fully seriously a Nepo baby etiquette coded white, blonde British woman pretending to be a liberal from her throne of class, passport, and racial privilege. Especially if she works in and shamelessly capitalizes the industry of the so-called arts. Or even worse, she has a horrible taste backed up by an $80 million founding. Hi, Emerald. Did you drink your oatmeal matcha latte today? I guess your millionaire jeweler that is still sending you some checks, even if you made it to Hollywood, right? Critical approaches to her previous works have been deemed online as rooted in misogyny by proto-feminists wearing girl power H&M crop tops, whatever. But all decent feminist discourses walk hand in hand with class struggle, among other struggles as well. And there is nothing more equalitarian than regarding a self-centered, spoiled rich girl the same way you would with a spoiled boy or non-binary person. But I mean, with an unforgiving disgust for their white imperial taste rooted in capitalism and masked as autonomy or artistic freedom, a neoliberal, real pop girl, as Carrie Churchill would say, for example. But to start with this, Wuthering Heights, quotation marks included, because Fennell was lazy enough and had already agreed upon lack of discursive imagination to come up with a story of her own. So she decided to steal the name of one of the most loved pieces of proto-feminist gothic horror ever written. In order to try and sell tickets by means of Emily's Bronte work. Would anyone have gone to see the movie? Had it been given another title? Not really. But did it deserve to be given another title? Given the fact that it's very obviously not an adaptation, but a somewhat free piece of work deriving from the original materials? Yeah, definitely. I'm actually excited to see how it will flop in the box offices and how it will be completely forgotten. I think in a maximum span of 3 years, maximum. And having studied in Oxford, it's not gonna make you a interesting artist, anyways. With a quick overlook at the cast and artistic decisions, I go as far as to say that this movie is not only serving classism, but also white supremacism. Surprised. That's the usual Hollywood operational framework, but in this case, it's so obvious and directly against the original thesis of the book that it really becomes cringe. But bad cringe. Not good cringe some IA's love posted on TikTok by some 40-year-old introverted kid, whatever. Like at least the second, the Yaya Slope, would be better connected to our present times and more aesthetically and conceptually relevant to the development of cultural history. But like back to the film, a white Heathcliff in 2026 is clearly a lazy, white-centered and white-centering decision coming from someone who never tried to engage critically with the materials that she decided to work with. And Catherine, being blunt, just proved a total lack of, love for poetry, a disconnection from the discursive role of symbolism and poetic thought. I guess that Fennell was playing with Barbies a bit too often as a little girl and had never opened a book until the Harry Potter franchise made its way to the bookstores or something. Like Emily Bronte would rise from her grave and kick the director's ass the same way that she would beat up her dog keeper to show him who was the alpha in the relationship. And do you get offended by this remark? Then you probably didn't enjoy the original novel anyways, I guess. Like, I am of course in favor of any adaptation of a classic that deviates from the original, chops it off and humiliates it. Like yes, the killing of our idols is one of the few ways in which our society can try to culturally advance. But in this process, you are also supposed to extract something from the original text, an idea you want to comment on or develop, and then like build your own material upon this. Like look, I don't care if you want to turn Catherine into a trad wife based in Miami, who is mother of like 3 horrible spoiled daughters and votes for Trump or whatever. Like, but if you do it, at least like say something. You have to have a point or proof that you can process thought and provide some analysis, even if your means of expression is aesthetics or fashion and not textual discourse. I mean, like, we all enjoy a good dress, but that's not an excuse for shallowness, I think. Products like these are both the operating tools and the consequences of a cultural system that promotes a total lack of thought and subversive discourse. Like, God, I wish that Kristen Stewart would have adapted the book, because then at least the film would have been bloody and hot and evil. That would have been actually quite nice. Like, Fennell was an Oxford student, but I have seen like undergraduates with better sensibility and understanding than her. Like, I guess money can buy intelligence or taste, just like contact network and a couple of apartments in central London. Fennell does have a tool in her strategy, however, with the potential of convincing idiots that the film is an acceptable piece of art, and that is avoiding criticism like any self-centered child or gaslighting partner or petty academic would do, under the statement that it is my interpretation of, or saying, that's why the quotation marks are there on the title, you silly. Yes, girl, no need to do a whole movie the next time, like a YouTube video would have sufficed. Completely. Such quotation marks might be the only meaningful decision, if not a legal one, of the whole project, but they're not going to save it from the absence of poetic sensitivity and the lack of meaningful artistic stance behind a bunch of very expensive production decisions. If the best part of a movie is the original soundtrack, maybe it should have been a podcast. There is, however, one aspect of the movie that can be saved, and that's Charlie XCX soundtrack. Despite my intense love for Charlie, I was, of course, reluctant to listen to her songs for this piece of film. This was until I came across an Instagram post that featured the song Chains of Love. And then I couldn't deny that, yeah, the Brad had done it again and released some excellent musical pieces. I love Chains of Love. I love how they didn't listen to the album yet because I'm busy listening to other things, but the songs are amazing. And after watching the video of Chains of Love, I felt that Charlie, in all her fierceness, would have fit the role of Catherine much better than any blonde Hollywood actress could ever have done. And in fact, there is much more of Wuthering Heights sensitivity in the Chains of Love music video than in any frame of the actual movie. Like, it feels like Fennell teamed up with Charlie. The same way like a lazy, mediocre kid teams up with the intelligent nerd in the classroom just to get hold of a good grade for once and claim it as his own merit afterwards. But not even Charlie's tracks were able to save the final product from its own crash. Like, these days the UK is so desperately trying to be cool through pop culture that we are all forced to eat such a mass marketing campaign for this decadent, uneatable kind of stuff. Do you know when children's fairy tales were amended so the kids would not be too traumatized upon knowing that, for example, Hansel and Gretel were eaten by a rather questionable old lady? Or when editors recommend to authors to change the ending of their books so that the readers would not be left feeling sad? Like, this type of pink-wash conservative hygienistic politics is what Fennell has thrown upon Bronte's text as if she were vomiting on the book pages, just that the vomit is pink and sparkly and has pieces of the expensive celebrity-worn jewels designed by her millionaire dad. Like, what does it mean that Catherine doesn't come back from the dead to haunt Heathcliff forever until he goes mad, turning him for fun into an even crueler abuser? Like, wow. The two of them would have happily killed each other in Valentine's Day, and you are focusing on the dresses? That's boring as least and completely irrelevant. The only way I would watch this film is blindfolded. That said, the conditions in which I would watch this film are only two. Through a pirated, low version resolution in my computer, lying on my bed and a bit high, as I text some friends in WhatsApp simultaneously, like trying to amend the experience for that, or either blindfolded in a cinema, not out of any kinky endeavor, like just to be able to listen to Charlie's songs with good speakers as I spare myself the effort of having to deal with such a process of cinematographic dump. I guess that Fennell's work is at the level of Melania's Trump documentary, or at least the audience who cherish the second will surely be satisfied by this unfortunate and irrelevant movie as well, like surely. Both are empty projects and propagandistics of the economical elites of society, and backed up by millionaire investment with a total lack of artistic value and cultural transcendence. Do not trust a white British lady who studied at Oxford with a millionaire jeweler dad and the guts to call herself a film director. Barbie was a 2-hour piece of advertisement, after all. You can have money in the bank, but the spirit of artistic vision does not fit in this sort of cash. Cash that, however, creates a system of security in which one can substitute survival for the free time and resources that artistic creation demands. But like anyway, if you go to the cinema, be it for another movie and you can illegally download this one later using a VPN, like theoretically, but don't do it. This is just for the concept of the video, like don't watch it at all. And that's it. Crash Kitty. Meow.